These are state-of-the-art teaching facilities.
People's expectations of the environment in which they will work or be taught have risen, and universities have got to keep up with that.
We've now set out a standard that the rest of the LSE really needs to follow. We've done something special here. Students really are impressed. This is what they've wanted for a long time.
On the 5th of November 2008, staff, students, alumni and donors gathered at the London School of Economics to mark an important milestone in the LSE's history. The occasion was the opening of a new academic building by Her Majesty the Queen. The last reigning monarch to visit the school was the Queen's grandfather, King George V, in 1920. The ceremony represented the culmination of 4 years' hard work and £70 million of investment, £10 million supplied by philanthropic donations. LSE acquired the building in 2004, and it quickly became apparent that this was going to be no ordinary refurbishment.
The first challenge is just building in central London. You've got higher construction costs, you've got logistical costs of actually getting the materials to site. We need to get crane oversailing licences, we need to get access agreements, we need to get rights to light agreement.
But by far the biggest challenge were the restrictions imposed by the planning authority.
The planners at Camden sort of said, well look, hang on a minute, this is an original Edwardian Beaux-Arts building built as Portland stone. We don't want you to knock it down, we want you to retain the facades.
The problem was that the original building was literally a rabbit warren of small rooms and narrow corridors. LSE's design called for large open spaces filled with light and providing a practical environment where students could gather en masse.
The requirement for the 400-seater lecture theatre in the basement set the space requirements which really define the space in this void, this atrium if you like, and we can't have any columns going down through the lecture theatre, and therefore everything above it had to be supported in some other way.
The solution was challenging. The engineers decided to demolish the interior of the building whilst retaining the outside walls. To stop them falling down, they also retained a 6-metre wide perimeter of the original internal floors. But that didn't solve the problem of how to support the new internal structure without building massive columns.
Traditionally, buildings are propped from the bottom up. Columns have to be designed so they don't buckle, whereas if you turn it upside down, the loads that the columns or the hangers have to carry are exactly the same, but buckling is not an issue because they're in tension.
By literally turning tradition on its head and columns into hangers, the engineers needed far fewer of them, and those they did need could be considerably smaller. In the finished building, one end of all 8 floors hangs from a vast steel truss in the roof. The result is a basement area filled with space and light. It's home to 4 state-of-the-art lecture theatres.
I want you to do numerous LexisNexis searches. We want to do something which is has a bit of distance, which is a bit foreign.
The crowning glory is the 400-seat Sheikh Zayed Theatre.
These are state-of-the-art teaching facilities. These lecture theatres, the acoustics are perfect, the technology all works. They give you a certain kick from going in and teaching in them, and it gives the students a kick from sitting in them. So I mean, I think that's a terribly important element of the building.
But the pièce de résistance is one floor up, the stunning ground floor atrium.
How you enter the building and how you discover that this actually has a completely new contemporary heart. For us, was quite important. When you walk through the doors, and then you walk through this quite darker, quite confined space first, which will make the atrium, which is filled with light, so much more dramatic. It's like a transport interchange. Anybody who comes into this building needs to go through this node here. And therefore, you might meet people you haven't seen for a long time, or you always wanted to talk to, or just something comes to your mind. So it's like this informal meeting. There's a lot of communication going on.
Whatever level you're at, you're only a half level from the next one. So, for example, you come in and you're about to catch a lift, and you see someone you might want to say hello to, and they're having a coffee just here, and it's not a full story away; it's a half story away. You can wave, acoustic. It's enough for an acoustic connection.
A cafeteria completes the architect's vision of a ground floor filled with casual meetings and social interaction. But most of the day-to-day business is conducted upstairs. For anyone who hates fluorescent light, the seminar rooms are a revelation. The entire building has been designed to maximize the available daylight. It was all part of the brief to win a Building Research Establishment Award of Excellence for Environmental Sustainability.
We set ourselves a contractual requirement to get a very good, sustainable building. But we had a target of excellent, which at the time was the highest accreditation we could get for this building.
The building is the first university refurbished premises to achieve a BREEAM Excellence rating. From the recycled materials and sustainable timber used to build it, to the roof garden designed to increase biodiversity in the area, no expense has been spared to ensure that this building is as environmentally friendly as possible. But a finish to this standard could never have been achieved without the generosity of the LSE's donors.
The quality of the materials and the finish and the design, going in and feeling your spirits lift by being in an environment which seems comfortable and pleasant. That's what the donors have been able to achieve.
4 gifts of £1 million and another 65 of £10,000 or more has ensured that this building properly reflects the LSE's global reputation for excellence.
Without that extra £10 million, we would not have a building of anything like this quality, and that would not do what we want it to do for the school's profile and reputation.
But the real test of any building is the day-to-day experience of those who have to use it.
First of all, I think we're now in an environment where we're all together. And so the possibility for communication and collaboration has been extraordinary. It's led to a real flowering, really already, of discussions that I think will lead to very important work. The offices are large and light. The technology all works. We're walking from our offices down the corridor to go to seminars. There's space for the students to be around, to catch us as we walk past. We are in an environment which is designed for a purpose, and it achieves that purpose, and I think that's a very important thing.
I think it's great, compared to the old building. It's a new look, spacious, feels good to be in.
The facilities are very nice. There's a coffee shop there, so we don't have to go out and be in the cold, and there are lots of places where we can sit and discuss with other students.
The law department, where I am, that they've got a meeting room that looks just like a courtroom. I think that's one of the highlights of this building. It looks great, it looks great.
My reason for really wanting the moot court was because it's, in my view, an essential part of legal education. The law firms, I think, these days do expect students to have very good oral presentation skills.
After 4 years, I am incredibly proud. This is a great achievement. Project on time, on budget, and to a really high level of quality. That actually is very hard to achieve, and it's not just me, but the whole team have worked incredibly hard to get there. It's a very competitive market out there. We compete internationally with a lot of the very well-endowed American universities. And I think what we've got here is something that people go, wow, we're a serious institution with serious real estate. This has given the LSE confidence. So we've got to bring up the whole level of the estate now to the quality of the new academic building.